Hi, in this video, we'll be looking at the reproductive structure in plants. So what is the reproductive structure in a plant? I guess it should be flower. So that is why we have the structure of a flower here. So we'll be looking at the anatomy, the different parts of a flower. Now, whenever I talk about this topic, I like dividing the parts into four basic categories. Now, the first is what we call the calyx. The second is the corolla. The third is the androsium. And finally, the gynosium. All right, so let's start with the first one, the calyx. So what is the calyx? Now, the calyx is a collection of sepals, and these are the sepals. So you can label this part as the calyx. Now, the major function of the calyx is for protection during the budding stage of the plant. So during the progressive budding state of the plant, the calyx actually protects the plant. So the next part is the corolla. So the corolla is actually the eye-catching part of the flower. It is a part that attracts agent of pollinations like insects. Okay. Now, the corolla is collectively known as, or the corolla is the collection of the petals. The petals. Now, this is the corolla. The floral, most of the floral parts of the flower is called the corolla. So you can say corolla or petal. Now to the next one, the androsium. Now the androsium is the male part of the flower, the male part of the flower, and it's a collection of two basic parts. We have the anther and the filaments. And this is the anther of the flower. This structure is called the anther, and this slender structure is called the filament. So the both of them make up the androsium, which is the male part of the flower. The function of the anther is that it houses the pollen grains, which we are going to talk about in our next video. Now, let's move to the next part, the gynosium. Now, the gynosium obviously is the female part of the flower. Okay, the gynosium is the female part of the flower. It is also called the pistil, or you can say the carpel. All right. Now, another name for the male part of the flower is the stamen. So, in case you hear someone saying stamen and androsium, it means the same thing. Okay. Now, for the gynosium, another name for it is called the pistil or the carpel. Now, what parts make up the gynosium? We have three basic parts, okay, that make up the female part of the flower. Now, the first part is here. This part over here, that part is called the stigma of the flower. Okay, then we have this part that connects the stigma to this other part. Now, that part is called the style. The style. All right. Now, the last part is what we call the ovary. Okay, so the stigma, the style, and the ovary make up the pistil. The pistil. Okay. All right. So this is the female part of the flower. Now, if you look inside the ovary, you will find some little structures. Now, those structures are called the ovules. The ovules. So just like you have the ovum in animals, in plants, they are called the ovule. Okay, and these are the megaspores or the female reproductive the female gametes in plant. Meanwhile, the male gametes in plants contained in the anther is called the pollen grain. Okay, so this is just a quick anatomy of the flower. Now, in my next video, I'll be talking about microsporogenesis, the pollen grains, and how they are made and their structure. So thank you and see you in my next video.